In this interview, I meet up with Dasch, who is a South African living in Germany. He is passionate about health and fitness, and he has 12 years experience in health and fitness industry. He is a former German international rugby player, and currently he is passionate about making quality exercise accessible to everyone through his YouTube channel, making workout fun and engaging for kids. Let's welcome Dasch. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me today, Dasch. This is absolutely wonderful to have you to show us about what you do on your YouTube channel and in everyday life. So how did you start your YouTube channel for kids workout? Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
Hi, Kayla. Thank you so much. So the whole COVID thing obviously hit Germany, we got into the lockdown phase quite early. That was in the beginning of March. And I started doing some online sessions with regards to sort of my rugby team. And I realized that there was a gap in the market for kids to do something. You know, they're not allowed outside or outside in ones or twos. They can't meet their friends. Mm-hmm. And I tried a couple of other platforms and realized that, the best value would be to use YouTube because of varying internet speeds, bufferings, et cetera. And, I think once that came about, I offered it to the youth group at my local rugby club. And they were ecstatic, and that's sort of how it started. It started off on a twice a week basis. It was in German, and then carried on after a couple of Facebook posts. My extended family back in South Africa were saying, "Please do it in English or do subtitles," and I was like, so now I do it both. I do it both in English and in German because reading subtitles while you train is near impossible.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's really cool what you do. We'll go into more detail. So now you're getting kids to do exercise without them knowing. And what techniques are you using to get them hooked onto your exercise?
So I had to take myself back to being a kid. And I mean, as you can see, I'm obviously about 18. So it wasn't that far away. No, I had to sort of rewind the clock a bit and think, how would I stay engaged? How would I want to be a part of something that doesn't take a lot of time or doesn't take a lot of thought. And all I thought was, okay, put an imagination hat on, and you'll find that most of the sessions that I do, I've got some form of hat on. It's not because I don't like my hair, it's because it's actually for a purpose. Yeah. And I use that as sort of a symbolism for kids to use their imaginations and for us to go on a story. Or go on an adventure, as I'd like to say. And we've been to a couple of places. We've been to the beach, we've been under the sea, pirate ships, we've played rugby games, soccer games, we've been on the basketball courts. And if I can carry on telling a story within it, it makes it a lot easier. I found that the shorter and shorter that they go, sort of your 9, your 10, you're sort of up to 15 minutes. 15 minutes can be a little bit long for kids. But sort of in between, up to your 10-minute mark is sort of your sweet spot. And kids really do stay involved and they stay active and are super motivated to carry on. I find that repetition is not such a good thing, or what I've come in terms of, I want to say in terms of the research and the feedback that I've received is that kids want to keep on moving and keep it interesting. So if they do anything between, they might not know, they're counting with me. So they're doing 10 repetitions of how I would know it and how I would plan the session. For them, it's just 10 apples that they've picked off a tree, or 10 balls that they've hit, or 10 goals that they've scored. And that's the beauty of it, to try and get them out of their living room, put them in somewhere else, and let kids what they do. Kids do what kids do best, and that's play, that's smile, that's not sit in front of a TV and be blocked up in 50, 60 square meters of space. I wouldn't know what that is in feet, so please don't ask me. But we are in the metric system, so the conversion's a bit difficult. But regardless of the space you're in, if you allow the child's, a chance to get out of there, and I don't particularly, I use a couple of items around the house that I dress up with, but it's nothing big. It's all, I might have a chest that I could use for a pirate ship. I had my son, who's 9 months, has a monkey, and he sometimes sits on my shoulder. And little things like that, if you add that in and you make it fun and you become interactive as the parent with them, they will love it. An accent goes a long way. I remember I did the pirate one in a pirate accent for 15 minutes. Now, I take my hat off to anyone who's worked at Disney World and is a pirate for that long. It is a long time to be a pirate.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. And those would be the techniques that I would use, if you could sort of put it. It's just keeping it interesting for the kids and short, within a time realm. I can't go too much longer than 15 minutes.
What age group are you targeting with that type of video?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can do it. So with regards to, I've had 70-year-old clients of mine that have actually done some of the sessions, and they found it quite tough, and they really enjoyed it. So that's just on the other spectrum. But for kids, you'd probably be looking anywhere between sort of 5 and 10 would be your prime ages. But below, I've got friends who've got kids who are 2, 3, 4. They might watch it for 1 or 2 minutes, which is also fine. There's no need to sit and watch the whole video. Neither is there no need to, tune in when it's, that's why it's on YouTube. You can watch it whenever suits you. And there's a whole, plethora of videos that you can choose from. And pick as your theme goes, or what suits you.
Yes.
So to answer the question in a long roundabout way, would be 5 and 10, but anyone can do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Even I have fun doing it. So I mean,
yes.
I'm 32, by the way. I was not 18. If any people were really just worried.
We were going to ask that at the end. Confess. Yeah. So you're showing parents how to overcome a limitation within their home, right? Because back behind you, that's your stage. That's how much room or less of that room is what you use. So we can say as parents, I don't have enough space to do all of this. That's what you're helping us overcome, right?
Of course. I mean, I've obviously, my wife has been super supportive about this. And as you can see, there would normally be a beautiful coffee table or sort of a dining room table in the middle there, but that's been put on the wayside. And the carpet would be my
space.
Show you fully would be my space that I use. I might veer off it slightly, but that's as much space as you need. And I think that would be roughly 4 square meters, a little square. You don't need much more. And I make it apartment friendly. So, and when I say apartment friendly, not encouraging balls in the house. I know parents are looking at me going, sports, balls, no, all my wonderful stuff. No. Of course, if you've got balls and got the space, amazing. Use them, encourage it, be outside, be in a space where kids can play and be loud and boisterous. But if you don't have that, there are ways and means around it. And that is on how you approach it, I think. I think that's probably the most important way, is if you as the adult approach it with the biggest imagination, and that's where the challenge will come in. And you go, look at this, look at my rugby ball, but it's not really a rugby ball, but you pretend it is. The kids are going to catch on as well.
Yeah, exactly. And, kids love imagination, right? Like, as you say, that's why I'm so attracted to your program. What you do is because, the summit is all about, alternative education options for parents, right? So some of us might be thinking about, choosing homeschooling or unschooling or one of those options, right? And this would be perfect when our kids get a little, not able to sit anymore to work or something. You can just go onto YouTube, do some imaginative work, and right with your
exactly. I think that is that's part of the fun. You need to take them out, and this is not just a summer thing. There will be spoiler alert. There will be in the future videos that are happening outside. But that doesn't necessarily mean they have to be done outside. And that is for me the biggest thing. There's no excuses as a parent or as an adult to say, oh, we can't do exercise because it's snowing outside, or we can't do this because we don't have enough space. and I'm just trying to debunk those myths and
Yeah.
use whatever you've got, you know, and this is in no way or in no ways an attack on people who do that, because those are real excuses. If it's -10 outside, I don't want to go outside, and I completely understand that. But this is giving you the opportunity and the space to do not have to be creative yourselves as the now teachers, or, you know, with these alternative options. It's giving you that space where you can allow someone else to help you out.
Yes.
And that's fine. You're allowed to ask for help. You're a human, and you're, you know, just because you're a dad or a mom doesn't make you might be Superman or woman to your kids, but you're also human. Yeah. So to require the help is fine, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to show you that, you know, your chairs at home, you know, don't use the nice ones, use the other ones. Yeah. But the things at home that, you know, that can be used and can be, you know, be there to help advance your children. And maybe, you know, maybe it sparks them onto wanting to take up a sport or join a club. And this will never, please, by any means, take away from those important aspects, because I believe sports is still one of the few things that we can do, or that is a must to do outside and to be with other people. That for me is the biggest part about sport, is the social interactions. Yeah. Regardless of how good you are, how far you want to go, it's the friendships and the relationships that you create doing the sport that is probably the most important, the life lessons that you learn. Mm-hmm. And that hopefully is sparked by 10 minutes of watching someone play soccer with a toilet roll.
Yeah, perfect, right? Perfect. Yeah. You know, that's one thing, like sometimes if I'm like, you know, want to homeschool my kid and I'm like, you know, I have to get them fed, I have to get them up, and, you know, all that stuff is happening. And I probably will have very little imagination at that point. You know, I have to get them doing all this work and getting catch up, everything, right? So having this opportunity for someone else to even, you know, influence my imagination as a parent, it's great, because then I can, you know, come up with ideas.
Of course, and you know, I'm not gospel by any means. It takes me a long enough time to be able to plan and think out a story. So it's using my imagination at the same time as it might spur something on with you. And of course, I mean, I have a 9-month-old now, and I find it incredibly challenging. You know, we both work from home, my wife and I, and we don't have any external help. So, and we're far away from family. You know, all our family lives in South Africa. So we're actually, you know, for lack of a better term, alone. And it's Jackson, who's my son, just looks at us, and we look after him. Mm. So we've got to balance that. And, you know, we also late nights, early mornings, working between us, trying to, you know, juggle 2 self-employed people. Mm-hmm. It is challenging. And of course, you know, the acknowledgement of, you know, taking on a different responsibility and wanting to homeschool your children is tough, but I think can be so rewarding when you seek the right help. Yep. Especially when you seek the right help, because you can't be expected to do everything. That's just not fair. Mm-hmm. on you as a parent, you know. So you must cook, clean, feed, teach, and then somehow still have time for your spouse or yourself afterwards. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably, you know, maybe one in a billion is really good at that, and great for that person. But I know I would be I'd be done without my wife. You know, I would not be able to do it without my partner.
Yes.
So for all the single parents out there, sorry, I will throw a shout out there. For all the single parents that are doing this, hats off, guys. Amazing. It's exactly. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And COVID was a real test, right? You know, for all of those people, right?
Sheepers. I mean, I had a client here who was a single mother. School stopped early March, and they weren't allowed to go to kindergartens. Nothing is opened. And you're with your child sort of 24/7 in an apartment. So that's, no matter who you are and how much you love your children, that's tough. That's hard. That's hard on you as a person, because you don't have any of your own time. Yep. And this can, in some way or form, allow you to have some of your own time. Yep. You know, allow you to, you know, maybe the first couple you're doing with your child, but maybe the next few, they've done it already. So they want to do the imagination themselves. And that's within lies, you know, there's kind of the groundwork takes place, and then I just take over. And then you can just say, let's go join Dasch.
Yes, awesome. And that's also why you make these bite-sized workouts, because that's how you get them kept engaged, right? If it's too long.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going into 30, 20, 30, 40 an hour, kids are going to get bored within the first 5 minutes. They just look, I mean, I know I'm an adult, I will scroll down to see how long a video is. And if it's anything longer than 10 minutes, I don't know if I'm really going to watch it. I don't really know if I'm going to go through with it. I might get a little bit further if I'm really intrigued.
Yes.
But I'm sure kids are very much the same.
Yeah. And you also say that these workouts actually foster parent-child bonding, right? Because
yes, of course. I mean, this is, as I've said, you can do them without them, and you can watch them. Or I would encourage, especially in the first couple, to do it together. And you'll probably find that it's actually quite difficult. It's a bit of a challenge. I'm huffing and puffing at the same time, and I consider myself relatively fit. And it's a lot of fun, especially if you're doing the imagination. And like I said in the beginning, if you're buying into the concept and you're showing the interest, then your kids are going to show the interest, because in the end, you guys are your kids' heroes, not me. Of course, I might spur it along, but in the end, I'm not spending every moment with your kids. I'm just helping you, and you're the heroes. You guys are the ones next to them the whole time. So, you fulfill that role, and you get that engagement together, and you create those moments, that funny moment when Dad was pretending to pass the toilet roll, and he fell and he slipped, and there's little Johnny, and he's laughing his head off. Amazing. You won't forget that.
yes.
Or mom, there goes mom running as quick as I am, or chasing me down the forest, like through with Little Red Riding Hood. Who knows? Like those things, if you get that right, I think you're setting yourself up for so much joy in the future, and so much opportunity.
Yes.
It doesn't just stop in the 4 square meters that are behind me. That's something that might encourage you to do it when you're outside, or when you're and those will come in time, but when you're on holiday. It's not just, we're in the day and age where we all love to be love to be up to date. We love to be, screen time is huge, but this in the end is there to encourage you to go, oh, my imagination still works, and I can still, and I'm just there to sort of give you a gentle nudge in the right direction, and hopefully it spurs on a whole lot of other things that you and your child, or you and your children, can do together.
Exactly. And you said earlier that you had some older woman did your exercise, and she found it very effective.
Yes, I mean the workouts, they are exercises, guys. It's not a it's I'm not just making it up on the spot.
Not just moving around.
No, we're not just sort of like just doing this and pretending like to be kids. It's actually, we are doing exercises. We're running on the spot. We are kicking our bums. We're sitting on our bums. We're doing a bit of stomach exercises. But it's all hidden. There's no target. So for me, it's like, and this is no disrespect to anyone else, but I'm not going to put on a channel saying go 10-minute killer ab workout for kids. Like that blows my mind, and it's there's no need. You just don't need it. You don't know. Your kid doesn't need killer abs. Your kid just needs to have fun. I promise you,
he'll have
his
abs.
core will strengthen. He'll get fun. If he's laughing, he'll get abs.
Yes.
That's the best bit about it. So let them have fun, and
Awesome.
let them enjoy it.
That's beautiful. That's really good. Laugh and get abs.
Exactly. Laugh and have abs. Just laugh as much as you can. Look at all the people with abs. They all laugh all the time. You tell me Dwayne Johnson doesn't laugh? Dwayne Johnson laughs as much as the rest of us, if not more.
Awesome. But you also teach sports, the rules and sports through your imagination, right? Through fitness and imagination. How do you do that?
So I try, and it does become a little bit challenging. So I try and take them through a game of some sorts. So for example, for me, rugby is one of my big passions. So I will take them through a game of rugby where they will get given the different scenarios. So for example, in rugby, there are different terms, and let's use a kickoff, for example, for the start of the game, and we'll do the kickoff, or we'll do catching and passing, or we'll do what they call a line out, you know, and I will try and explain that as best as possible with the different elements. It obviously, with many sports, there are so many rules, and the point of it would be to just, I guess, to get a basic understanding, just get some of the fundamentals in.
Yes.
And if the kids enjoy it, then they can go a little bit further. But if, for example, in basketball or in netball, you know, in netball, you're not allowed to run with the ball. You have to run around. And then once you catch the ball, you have to stand still. But as us as adults will know that you can have a foot that stands still, like a pivot foot is what we'd call it. However, what is a 5-year-old going to do with the word pivot? It's going to do nothing. So you just say, stick your foot in the ground, and you're not allowed to move your left foot. And with the other one, you can move and pass, and you give yourself, you know, there you've explained something. And maybe next time they're playing netball at school or with their friends, they go, netball, I'm not allowed to run with the ball. You've done something, there's one thing that they've learned.
Yes.
I'm not here to sit, I promise you, I'm not going to sit here and explain rule for rule how sports work. But if I can put it into a game or to an exercise of some sorts, I will. And the kids will pick it up accordingly.
Yes. And also you're making them become curious about it, right? Okay, now what is this? What do I do with this ball after? Now I have this ball, I can run with it, right? So now
Exactly.
now they have this curiosity and they want to find out more, and they will start.
And that's the point, you know, you want them to pick up a sport, you know, between 5 and 10, I think is prime age for kids to do as many things as possible. You know, there's definitely, you know, and I did a million sports up till 16, 17. You know, and then obviously you start to choose which ones you prefer. Yeah. But the more you do, the more opportunity you have to firstly get better with general hand-eye coordination and general coordination. And then you have more opportunity to see, maybe I prefer ice hockey. Or no, I actually love basketball. Or no, I don't like either of them. I actually would like to go and play golf. You know? Any one of those choices, and that's sort of where we get to. I haven't been brave enough to do golf yet on the show. I don't know. I still haven't quite got my head around how am I going to get kids to move playing golf. Although I would love to play. I used to do it as a child, play sort of 18 holes in the house, where you take a sock ball and you throw it into little holes and you make your own. Like, it's amazing. I'll probably get to it at some point. I'll need one of those follow cameras, you know.
Oh yes, yeah. Nice. Those are great ideas for sure. Like, you know, and I like that you like, you know, the encouragement of try out all different sports when you're young. So
100%. Please. I encourage that with everything that I have. I said, please don't, you know, time dependent. Don't allow them just to, you know, because everyone plays ice hockey. Let's just do ice hockey. Of course, it's great because their friends are doing it, but you know what? Maybe at the next club down the road, they get even better friends because they might be a little bit better at that sport, or they might enjoy temp bowling, or they might enjoy curling, for an example. You know, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of main sports, of main sports, but soccer is another one. Yeah. You know, baseball, basketball, swimming. I've done. I mean, you think people tell me we can't go into the pool because of COVID. We've been in the pool and the sea many times behind me here.
That's the sea back there, right?
Yes, there's the sea. As you can see it, all we need it's a bit of imagination, and you've been in the pool already.
Yes, exactly. So can you show us something like that you use, like some demos of items that you use around the house that are with the imagination become something else?
Yeah, of course. So I'm gonna take you out of my ear quickly, so I'm gonna put you on loudspeaker so everyone can hear me and I know what's going on. So, for example, I mean, here's a broomstick.
Yep.
Yeah, and the broomstick can be anything from a hockey. My dog really doesn't like it. Anything from please, nothing ever happens. So I really promise whoever's watching the show, I love my dog more than anything in the world. Okay, so anything from a hockey stick to you use it as a baseball bat. You can use it as a cricket bat. You know, I've used it as a fishing pole. There's so many opportunities. The other things that I like to use is what is really popular. Everyone has one, roll of toilet
Yes.
paper.
Oh, yes.
This you'll see quite often, and this is your ball. You know, and that's what I say there's no need for you to say, oh, no balls in the house. I agree, I wasn't allowed to play with balls in the house either. But that doesn't mean that your kids can't play with something else. You know, you take that with a ball and you've got, most people maybe they don't look like this, but a washing basket. You know, so a washing basket, and we've all played this game, but as we get older and older, we forget. But there's your, you know, now I'm here, I'm going into basketball, so I can't dribble because it doesn't bounce, but I've caught the ball. I'm now going to use that foot that's stuck. I can move around a little bit, and I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to shoot into the hoops. And there's my hoops. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to show how to shoot.
Nice.
And I'm going to score.
Nice.
And then you make a big noise, and thank you. And then you make a big noise, and you go crazy, and the kids are loving it. And you change different shots, and you throw over your head, and you know you make it as fun as possible, because these are the things we all have at home. And I believe that they can all be utilized. You don't have to use the toilet roll. You can use a roll of socks.
Mm-hmm.
A roll of socks is another one that's perfect. I like to use pillows. Pillows is a great one. You know, today we were actually Red Riding Hood. And Red Riding Hood, I tailored the story a little bit to myself, but I said we were building a wall so that the wolf couldn't get us. And you use the cushions to build a wall. And an example would be, I put the cushion down on the floor, I pick it back up, and we build the wall next to it. So I jump and I put it down, and then I jump back and I've got to build the other side. And you just, you know, there you're picking it up and you're showing it get higher and higher, and you're using your imagination. And those are sort of a couple of the tricks that I use. I do have balls in some of the videos that I've used, and the only reason being is that a lot of the sports require you to have a ball. But having said that, you know, to dribble, like for basketball, or to catch, but to catch it, for catching amongst yourselves, if you've got a partner. I haven't done any with partners yet, but you're more than welcome to, you know, for passing with each other. And there's no need to be scared of breaking anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like that's one of the fears parents have, right? Oh no.
Of course.
Give a kid a ball.
I've got fears. Like I mean, I will have the rule when Jackson grows up that there will be few balls in the house. Let's not say no balls, because let's be honest.
Yes.
Okay. But you know, I've got terrible fears of things breaking, you know, and it's you know, especially if you think, oh, but I've got so little space, and how can I do it? It takes maybe 30 seconds or 60 seconds just to push a couch a little bit further back, and that way. And there you have it. You know, the one of the great ones that I did was climbing a mountain. You know, and I'll walk out the back. I use a footstool, and it can be anything, it can be any sort of chair, and you make sure you just don't hit your head, which, you know, as an adult you might, but you just climb up the foot chair and you back down, and there you are, you're climbing the mountain. You're climbing Mount Everest with your kid, and off you go. Nice.
Cool. Very, very cool. You know, it's just like we're so driven to the screen time, and we kind of forget our imagination, don't we? Like as we become adults, we kind of step away. It's like another world, but this is cool.
I think it's just, it's very easy to just put on the TV.
Yeah.
It's really easy. And Jackson isn't there yet as a 9-month-old, but I'm sure, I'm positive that I will get to the stage as well. You know, where just put the TV on, you know, just put it. And that's where, as a parent, you sort of, not every time, but sometimes you go, maybe I haven't done any exercise today, or maybe I haven't done anything. So this is where it can work in your favor as well. So if you think that you have no time for exercise as a parent, and this is what I find so interesting, or you don't have any time for yourself, use the 10 minutes. Who's going to know? And what, but be honest, who cares? It's your 10 minutes with your child. How special is that you can actually do exercise? You don't have to take him running, because maybe you hate running, but maybe running on the spot is so different for you. You know, you've never done a triathlon in your life. Well, there's a triathlon video for you that I've done, and it takes place without getting wet.
Nice.
And there it is. You know, you might be the worst swimmer in the world, but you can swim here, and there you've done exercise. There you've done something for yourself. And maybe that's one of the other things to take out of it. Of course, you want your children to learn, but if you're deciding to go down that route, you know, and it's going to take up a lot of your time, and maybe for the first couple of months, it's, you know, like anything new, it's really exciting and you think you've got enough time, but 3-6 months down the line, heart of winter, when it's getting dark at like 3 o'clock, you know, you didn't want to wake up at 6 to go to the gym, or the gyms are closed because COVID has come back and hit us with a third shelter in place, or, you know, a quarantine area. Then there's your 10 minutes that you can do yourself, and you can go, flip, I actually did something today. I feel a little bit better. You know?
Yes.
And that's another thing that it combats. You know, there's a huge, for children, you know, worldwide, and for adults, the obesity problem world over is a big issue. And this is something where I promise you won't even you will feel like you're exercising, you'll be out of breath and you'll be tired, but you'll be laughing if you're doing it with your kids, and it'll make it that much more fun. And like Peter said earlier, or like you said earlier, you will be laughing. You will create that bond, that moment with your kids that, like, no one will be able to take it away from you. Yeah. You know, and how cool will it be if you do that 3 times a week? Nice. To be honest, like, and I say this to a lot of people, I say 3 times a week at 10 minutes, that's 30 minutes a week. Wow. You know, 30 minutes a week out of an entire week's worth, which is, you know, say you're awake for 12 hours, which we're all awake for a lot longer, but 12 hours times by 7, that's 84 hours, and you're taking 30 minutes out of that. I think it's doable. Yes, definitely. I think it's doable, and especially broken down like that. And that's a lot of the time what needs to happen is you need to go, how am I going to break this down? How am I going to fit it in? People, you know, it's a priority that might not be a priority in the beginning, but needs to become one. Yeah, because your kids won't, or I believe, and I think I've spoken to enough people about this, a balance is really important. Yeah. You know, and I think that, especially in a schooling system or whichever way anyone tries to go, balance is key. I had the complete opposite balance, and I'm the first one to admit it. I would have loved to have had a bit more on the academic side, and I'm very open about it. But I believe that everything works in tandem and we work together. And this, to bring your parents involved, and especially in times that are so uncertain, I think it's a great way. I love doing it. So I hope you will love doing it as well, or at least give it a go. No, for sure, 100%. I think, you know, something else while you were talking, it came to my mind is I used to work with a lot of special needs students in the school. Like, that was one of the things as a behavior interventionist I did. And, you know, we always needed to animate stuff, right? Like that's something we always, because their attention, you know, they want you to smile at them. They want animation from your face. You can't just sit with paper and pen and do your stuff. That doesn't work. You got to bring it to life. And your program for workout for them would be amazing. You know, I'm just thinking like how amazing they would get animated. Here's this, I pretend I used my stuff around me, right? Cool. Yeah, I think what an amazing opportunity. And I just, like you said, you know, for a unique learner at that point who maybe struggles to hold on to your words for that little bit of time. Yeah. You know, it's that break bit, and, you know, it's maybe you're tired as well. And I probably, you know, repeating myself a few times, but you can get tired. You're a human. You're allowed to. You know, it's a lot of energy that takes place going into teaching. So allow someone to, you know, to take over a little bit, and that imagination is there to help, and it's also in a bite size. You know, it's 10 minutes. don't even have, no one has to watch it for 10 minutes. You can watch it for 5 minutes if that's how long it actually takes. Maybe 5 minutes is enough. Maybe 5 minutes they're back on and they're good to go. That's cool. There's no obligation. And I think from a unique learner perspective, this just brings a whole dimension. A lot of, shy away from sports because now maybe he can't hold concentration enough, or maybe, it's not so good in a team sport or what have you. Give it a go. Try something different. Try, maybe sports aren't his thing, but maybe 10-minute workouts are. Maybe this is the way you keep your child active and keep his development at a steady rate. Nice. Instead of after 5 minutes or after the first time, trying to explain someone the rules or taking him to a team practice and he didn't actually enjoy it that much. Well, maybe he didn't enjoy the sport, or maybe he didn't enjoy the environment he was in.
Yeah.
So there gives them other options. Oh, I saw Dasch doing that. What is that sport called again? Tempen bowling. Let me go and try tempen bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another, we did that with Dasch. Don't you remember? We went to go and play netball. And then you're talking, and then you go, let's go and try it.
Yeah.
I didn't play netball. Sorry, I just keep on using it as quite a nice example.
Nice.
My wife played netball. She did.
Awesome. And something else is coming to my mind is we can take this when we're when COVID is all over, and we are outside, let's say at the playground or in the forest or wherever, or at the beach. Sometimes we lose our we can just play it there, and they can actually imagine it there.
Of course, and that's the beauty. It's one of the beauties of technology. I mean, look, we are thousands of kilometers away, but we're having a conversation live on, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever people use. And there you can take it to your phone to the middle of a beautiful beach. And I've never been in this, but imagine looking over and you're on the beach, and there you see both your kids, or your one kid and your husband, all on their phones. There's a beautiful view out there, and you remember as a kid, what were you doing? You were jumping in the ocean and throwing stones or playing, catch. And there you go. And then maybe you go, okay, well, but you don't want to do it because you're tired as well. You've had 300 days of work, and put Dasch on the TV and let's join in a session. And then maybe that goes, we've just played that. Let's throw the ball to one another.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I love it. You can just get, instead of them watching something on the phone and at the beach, get them involved doing something, and you don't have to animate it like you animate it, right?
No, you don't have to make it exciting. It's all about me. That's why I'm the one who's looking, silly on a screen. It's fine. That's why you don't have to do it. That's what I'm here for. I'm there to make you laugh and smile as it is. Most of the time my wife is on her back laughing behind me, while out there on the side I can hear her laughing. So it's at least it's it's bringing some form of entertainment, which is part of it, and then
very, very
you learn something and take something from it.
Cool.
That'll make me super happy.
Above all these advantages, there's one more from watching your show. What is that?
Cheapers. For me to put it down, I think I personally believe that it's the coming together of the education and sport. Mm-hmm. I believe that marrying the two together, and I mean education in a broader sense, because they don't just talk about sports. Like I said, this week or this month, I'm going to be doing fairy tales with movement. So I'm teaching a fairy tale. I'm getting your kids to move, and we're laughing and smiling at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's sort of bringing my favorite things together, and hopefully as children, we can bring those and reignite, that off-screen element where we can use our imaginations, where we can, be active, even in these times, even in these uncertain times, even in, where we don't know what's going to happen, but we can still get something out of it, even if we can't go outside. And that for me is amazing. That's
Perfect.
probably for the unity of education, sport, movement.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be my
Very,
favorite out of all of it.
absolutely, absolutely. And then there's one more, which is you're also teaching them a language, aren't you?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Sorry. So as I said in the beginning, I actually do this on. I do this in two languages. I do this in German and I do it in English. It actually started off in German.
Mm.
It's my second language. I learned it growing up as a kid, and I sort of just it sort of rolled out as we moved here 3 years ago. And yeah, so if you'd like to, and you're wanting to teach a kid a new language or have German ancestry, and
Oh,
want to see what it's about, you kind of can follow it. If you have any feedback or whatever, like to drop me a line about it. I'm happy to take feedback. I really am. I'm not a. I love feedback. I love to hear what's good and what's bad, so I can improve. But yes,
thank you.
if you'd like to learn how to speak German, don't count on me being the most grammatically correct German out there. It is probably it's a very difficult language. It really is, where it actually doesn't have any rules,
Mm.
which I've only came to learn. I mean, of course it has rules, but it's like it's one of those things where we have masculine and feminine in a lot of your French or your le, la,
Mm.
le. In German, there's no real like fast, steady rule for a masculine or a feminine, adverb or pronoun or whatever it is.
So
I don't even know.
you have to get used to being there and talking to
Yeah,
people, so you get the
and
idea.
you still make mistakes. It's all about what they call the der, die, das, and it's like das Schuh, which means that shoe. But in English, it's only that shoe. It's not. But it couldn't be. I might even say it wrong, and it could be der Schuh. Do you know what I mean? So there's
Yeah,
no real you just have to learn it, and that just comes from a learning thing. So
nice.
don't quote me on grammar or,
Well,
but if you're wanting just to
exposure.
learn some exposure, learn some vocab,
Yeah,
please. That's what I'm there for, to have fun. That's my biggest target.
yeah, yeah. What you're doing is absolutely important for all our kids, and it's just amazing that you're bringing back that imagination that a lot of us might have forgotten, because we're just getting old and tired, and we're frustrated with life, right? Especially at a stage like this, imagination is the last thing a lot of parents want to think about, right? But you're
100%.
taking that place to bring it to
Thank you.
us.
Thank you. Good. Yeah, I'm trying, guys. And if you really, please just tune in. All my links are available. And
Yep.
if you would like to have anything in particular or would like to contact me, please feel free. I'm pretty open to any suggestions or ideas that anyone would like to throw out there. I will happily do it on screen. There is a plan and there's an exciting part. And like I said, at the moment, it's fairy tales for the next month. There's some other exciting adventures that are going to take place for the little kids. We're going to be going outside. We're going to the river. We'll
Nice.
be going to a forest. So stay tuned. It will be, it's an adventure. The whole thing is.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Such a great inspiration for all of us. Yes.
Yeah,
And
thank you very much. And thank you so much for hosting. What a wonderful summit. And
thank you.
I take my hat off to yourself. Like I said, you're the real hero. And I wish I'd had you when I was going through school. That was my biggest thing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.